It's time to do a Planned Parenthood gut check. All right? We'll show a few of these clips that are making all the headlines, but there's something way beyond that, that we need to discuss. Gut check time here. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Hillary Clinton. There are a lot of passages in the Bible that speak about God's justice, God's judgment coming eventually. There's also a passage that says, "Do not rejoice when your enemy stumbles, lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn his wrath away from him." That passage is talking about personal enemy. That's my understanding. So in other words, if you've got a personal enemy and then something goes wrong in their life, don't rejoice. Don't rejoice, lest the Lord see it and be displeased. But there are many passages that speak about the wicked, evildoers, receiving judgment. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord will have them in derision. Hillary Clinton is an evildoer, all right? And by that, please understand, we don't have to go any further than her support of the killing of innocent babies and her support for the desecration of marriage, okay? Marriage is a sacrament. It is a covenant instituted by God himself between a man and a woman, and she is in open rebellion to the Lord God who made heaven and earth by her support of so-called homosexual marriage. That's what I mean by she is an evildoer. We don't have to go to Benghazi to figure it out, okay? But go to Benghazi we will. And this email server issue is going to probably bring her down. It's happening in slow motion. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Now, I said probably bring her down. And the reason I said that is because the Clintons are arguably the most connected and most powerful political family in America. Randall, why do you think that? Maybe it's the Bushes, because the Bushes have two presidents and might have a third. Well, the reason is this. The Democrat machinery is a little bit more corrupt than the Republican machinery. That's my assessment, okay? I could be wrong on that, but the Democrat machinery, I mean, look at what our former Attorney General did, Eric Holder. Look at the gun running. Look at all this crazy evil, him destroying the life of that policeman in Missouri when it turns out that all the evidence showed that he was, in fact, being attacked, all right? Obama is corrupt. Eric Holder is corrupt. There were elements, I'm certain, of Bush 1 and Bush 2 that were corrupt, but I don't think it reaches to the level that it does with the Democrat machine. And because Bill Clinton is so popular, because he's so connected inside of the political world, there's a lot of do bills there. There's a lot of strings that can be pulled. So while there is a lot of rejoicing and rubbing of hands together on the right wing of the political spectrum over Hillary's slow motion demise, don't think for a minute that it means that she's done. Did you know that in a head-to-head poll with Trump, she still wins by 6 points? We're going to talk about Trump in our next segment. But I mean, in other words, that's how much staying power this woman has. There is a very large segment of the voting population that goes like this. I can't hear you. I won't hear you. Whenever anything negative is spoken about Hillary, it just won't listen. So here's my exhortation to you. You know people in your family, in your church, and in your workplace if you work outside the home. You know people who are willing to vote for Hillary, are considering it. I urge you, in the presence of the Lord, Make your voice count in the circle where God has given you influence, and speak the truth to them and say that she is an evil doer and that no Christian can ethically vote for her. If you help an evildoer in their evil deed, then you become an evildoer with them. And one last thing about Hillary. She's finally in trouble with the press. The press is finally starting to ask her tough questions, and that's been in the news. You see her walking away when a reporter asks her a decent reporter-like question. She gets ornery, she throws up her hand, she walks away. Her mocking the Fox reporter about, well, do you mean that I wipe my server clean with a cloth? She's finally going to be pressed by the press themselves. So we don't know where this is going to end. But you can be a part of keeping her out of the White House if you will impact those that you have around you. Go for it. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Muhammad Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there. Watch the pilot for What Would Muhammad Do? And if you like the show, give us a gift. Let me start off by tipping my hat to Dr. Alan Keyes and other good people who do not trust Donald Trump. And I want to say with them, I do not trust him either. All right? I'm enjoying watching him. I make no bones about that. And I'm loving what he's doing to Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush is not high energy. He doesn't have the energy. Let's play that clip for me. Play that clip.
He's a very low energy person, Jeb Bush. He's got very low energy, which is okay. It's good if you want to lead a long life.
So there he is, insulting the Jeb. And Jeb's in that background. I mean, look at him. Jeb's surrounded by some honorable men who have served our country, but it doesn't look like a guy who's full of energy, and the people who are coming out for him are full of energy. Meanwhile, the Trump crowds are maniacally supportive, screaming, yelling. Anyway, I want to talk in this segment about Donald Trump and about you, okay? And about the other candidates. 58% of Republicans polled now believe that Donald Trump will be the nominee, okay? That's a huge number, people. That's a huge number. He is now he's at 24 points in Texas, and Ted Cruz is at 16, and former Governor Rick Perry is at 4%. Perry is trying frantically to raise money, just enough money to keep his staff paid. So he's still traveling and doing appearances. He's getting earned media on a local level, but he can't raise money. And he's barely able to pay his staff and his travel expenses. So if something doesn't turn quickly for him, he's going to become irrelevant. And this is so significant because a couple of months ago, Cruz was at 20-something points and Perry was at 12 or 13 points in Texas. So those were 2 guys who were the front runner. Perry has made a mission out of pounding Trump, and it's cratered him. Same with Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham at least showed up on the polls. Now Lindsey Graham is at 0. I'm going far afield, but I need to do it. I need to do it for a second. Lindsey Graham knew he was not going to win. Lindsey Graham was a plant from day one, okay? Lindsey Graham knows he will not be the nominee, and he was never going to be the nominee. His mission was to be on a platform to attack Trump. That was his mission. He was there to be a shill for the big money people. I don't think Marco Rubio has a snowball's chance in the hot place. I've been watching him in various interviews. He's not good on his feet. He gives canned responses that are slogans and bumper stickers but don't have content. He doesn't have the passion. I don't trust him. Somebody's paying, I don't know who, but somebody's spending large sums of money, independent expenditures, using Rubio as the hero. So when someone's doing that, propping up Rubio and spending a ton of money, that means that they're trying to use Rubio as the stick to whip someone. And that's gonna happen with Rubio and Trump, although Rubio has stopped talking about Trump. All right, let's come back to Donald Trump. He is way ahead in national polls, and he is altering the debate, okay? And the reason that the rank and file are so thankful for him, okay, is because we are completely disgusted and fed up, not to hear, like we're barely able to breathe, disgusted, fed up with John Boehner, with Mitch McConnell, with the D.C. Republican establishment, with the moneyed class that bought Jeb Bush's soul a year ago, okay? These people disgust us, as they should. And so Trump is now completely outside of the box. He is completely outside. He's breaking every known political rule. Insult your adversary. Come back at the press. Don't apologize for anything. Say that Jeb Bush lacks energy. Laugh, scoff. I mean, he's having a ball. And the little people, can I call myself, I'm not trying to insult myself, but those of us who aren't massive power players, we're just rejoicing. We're loving this, okay? We're loving this. So he's redefining the game. And you know how I know? Governor Walker. Governor Walker is now speaking against the D.C. Republican establishment. He has become the Me Too. Ted Cruz has made a career out of it. All right? If you look at Trump and you look at Cruz was speaking out against the D.C. establishment long before Trump's name was even on the table. And Cruz has wisely said that he is not going to criticize Trump. Cruz has shown himself to be a political genius in that respect. So Trump's not going anywhere, people. He's got the money. He's got the pockets to fund himself. One last thing about him. I don't know who he didn't say, but I was watching an interview with him last night or the night before, and he said that some big money person offered to spend $5 million for him. And that would be an independent expenditure to say something nice about Trump, like it's happening with Rubio. Trump turned him down. Don't need your money, don't want your money. And it might have been a shill. It might have been a plant. That person might have been a Benedict Arnold sent to Trump. Look, you go offer him $5 million. If he takes the money, if he says, yes, go ahead, then we can say, see, he's just like the rest of us. Trump didn't take the bait. Didn't yield to the temptation if it was a temptation, and didn't take the bait if it was a trap. All right? So he's got 6 or 8 staff in Iowa, about the same in New Hampshire, about the same in South Carolina, and he's starting to map out a way that he could become the nominee. Right? And we're 6 months out. That's the crazy thing. And there's so much that can go good or bad, go well, or I mean, there's just so many things that could happen. But I'll tell you this right now. If Trump goes away, if tomorrow he just implodes, then Ted Cruz becomes the standard bearer, or Governor Walker becomes the standard bearer for attacking the D.C. establishment, attacking the press, not yielding on immigration, going after the Supreme Court for their tyranny and their unjust criminal rulings. And now Ted Cruz and Walker have a new game plan that they can use. It's like when the Bills went to the hurry-up offense in football. Years ago, some of you remember that? It changed football. It literally changed football because other people thought, what? They're not huddling. They're not huddling. They just get the ball. And he's yelling some numbers, and then Jim Kelly's throwing the ball. Yeah, hurry-up offense changed football. And what Donald Trump is doing is going to end up changing the rules of politics. And all I can say is good. Thank God for what he's doing. Thank God for what he's doing. Whether he knows that he's been a blessing to us or not, really, it doesn't matter. Because he is kneecapping the Republican establishment. And all I can do is say, hit hard, hit long, Donald. I'm sick. I'm a sick soul. Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. Planned Parenthood is a criminal syndicate. All right, and I mean criminal syndicate. I'm not talking in hyperbole. I mean that they are organized crime. All right, they're like the mafia of the sexual world. The reason I say this is because not only are they murdering babies, which under the color of law now is legal. That's another debate, right? But they're mass murderers, okay? But beyond that, they are knowingly involved in covering up the crimes, the sexual crimes against minors that are happening in every state. They're covering up the crimes against young girls that are happening. And when a girl walks in who's 13 years old and she's pregnant, she's a walking crime scene, okay? Planned Parenthood is knowingly involved in covering this up, not reporting pedophiles to the police, not reporting pimps who have foreign-born young women, minors, working for them in the, I should give a PG warning. I should give a PG warning. If you have children in the room, I'll stop for a minute. If you have children in the room, I would encourage you to go ahead and whisk them out for a minute. We are unfortunately at the place in our nation's history where things that could not have been said in mixed company, on TV, on the radio, could not be printed in the newspaper. I was born in 1959. In the year that I was born, the things that I'm discussing right now, you could not say some of these words in mixed company, from a church pulpit, on TV, on the radio, in a newspaper. You couldn't do it. Now we're at the place where what was unspeakable is now commonplace. So what's unspeakable today that's going to be happening 20 or 30 or 40 years from now? You shudder to think of it, don't you? All right, so anyway, back to Planned Parenthood. They are a criminal syndicate. They are involved in covering up crimes crimes against young girls who are in the so-called sex trade or sex business. Many of them foreign-born, many of them runaways who end up going with some pimp somewhere who then sells them, okay? Which is also a criminal act. So these poor girls are literally victims of horrific crimes. And Planned Parenthood is knowingly covering it up. And there are reams of tapes showing this, where Planned Parenthood is caught on tape, okay? They keep getting federal money. Most states continue to fund them, okay? They are a force to be reckoned with. A force to be reckoned with, like all of organized crime is. And since they're being protected by the government, that makes it doubly bad. Imagine one of the criminal mafia gangs of New York City or Chicago, I shouldn't have said Chicago, I'm talking about Obama. Imagine them doing what they do, criminal acts, okay? Murdering, like Planned Parenthood murders babies, and sex crimes and sex trade, all these evil things. And that law enforcement are bought and paid for in their back pocket. That's what we have here. Okay, this is Al Capone. Maybe not quite as noble and well-dressed as Capone. You can see some of these Planned Parenthood people, they look sleazy. But it's a criminal conspiracy. And they don't have law enforcement bought and paid for. They're being paid by Uncle Sam to do this grisly nonsense. They're being paid by us. You and I are paying for this. We are funding crimes against children with our tax dollars. I'm going to take a quick break and just stay with me and keep the kids out of the room, but I want to talk to you directly for a minute. Will you stay with me, please? Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land, but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're going to run. No, we're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. When various prophets and kings of the Old Testament stumbled upon horrific crimes that were being committed, including child sacrifice, you can read about innocent blood being shed, children being offered up to Molech. Oftentimes they would cry, they would weep, tear their clothes. I know that this is disturbing. Right? The things that we're talking about are just heart-wrenching. And I understand the desire to not think about them and not talk about them, to not see images like this. But please, don't be offended, don't be mad at me. Listen, the reason we have to see these images is the same reason that Eisenhower made the people of Germany walk through concentration camps and to see the bodies of the victims who were killed because of negligence, cowardice, or complicity from the German people. All right? So I am not trying to condemn any dear Christian woman who's watching this program right now or non-Christian woman who participated in the murder of their baby. And Jesus will forgive all sins. I mean, literally all sins except one, blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. So if you have participated in the death of your child, cry out to the Lord for forgiveness in whatever manner that you are used to. All right? Beg Jesus for forgiveness. Go to a counselor. Go to a priest. Get absolved. Okay? Whether you're Catholic or Orthodox or continuing Anglican or Antioch, whatever. But we still have to talk about it. We still have to talk about it. And we have to do something. And this is where it gets even doubly painful. And I might pick up on this on our next show. I will pick up on it on our next show because we're almost out of time. But let me just say, if you read Deuteronomy chapter 21 and Leviticus chapter 20, what those two passages indicate is that when innocent blood is shed, people are murdered or babies are murdered, especially babies in Leviticus 20. It's all about killing babies. That not only are those who kill the baby guilty, but those who know that the baby is being killed but don't do something to stop it, they're guilty to one degree as well. And God threatens judgment not only on those who killed their baby, but he threatens judgment on everyone else who's involved by just being complicit and being quiet. So here's my encouragement to you. Scream your lungs out. If it's in the bank line, I don't mean literally scream, but speak. Say that Planned Parenthood is involved in murder. We must defund them because they are involved in murder and crimes against children. Just say it. Don't flinch. And again, use your sphere of influence for good.